Alright, it is evening here in America, but iRacing has just dropped their release notes for tomorrow's patch, and so I wanted to give the TLDR of the notes so that you don't have to read them. So let's get right into the nitty-gritty, pick out what's important, what's not. So first off is the iRacing UI. So there's going to be some more changes to the iRacing UI. Hopefully, I think they want to move people over from the member site. Launching, that's not a huge deal. This is a big deal right here though. Different car models selectable for hosted sessions increased to 12. I believe it was either 8 or 9 before. So for your big meme races with different cars in the field, that's really cool for that. Those demo derby figure 8 races are going to get that much more hectic. And then next here is something that I'm pretty excited about. It's the results and stats update. So the results and stats have been something for a while that the member site has had that the UI just did not have in such a seamless manner, if anything at all. So it looks like there'll be a results page, find past results button, makes everything finding results easier in the UI. You can filter official races by different things just like you could in the member site. Same for hosted races, and you can search for a valid subsession ID. Results page now includes 2 tabs for official racing and hosted racing. Now what this is still missing is driver stats. What the member site does have is all the driver stats that you could ever want, and a lot of that is not carried over into the UI yet, so that is going to be something that'll keep me on the member site personally for now. And then on to the simulation, a couple not too important things right here. The series schedule will now include whether there will be penalties or disqualification for too many incidents. I assume most official series have that already, so I guess it's just stating how many, which could be good to know. Optimization, iRacing's been working a lot on optimization, so these are all different things that they are doing to make your loading times quicker. It's been a real big difference last season to the season before, so hopefully it keeps trending in that direction. So tires have a more realistic grip experience while driving on grass, sand, gravel, grass, concrete, and other surfaces. That's a very big deal because that is something that a lot of sim racers criticize iRacing for, is that their off-track surfaces are too slippy. They don't really have real physics of their own. They're just, you get on there and you just slide and die. So this is hopefully going to be a step in the right direction. Some stop and goes have been turned in the drive-thrus. This seems like kind of a big deal, but honestly, what's the difference between a stop and go and a drive-thru? Like a few seconds. Pit exit failure, passing on the inside before the start, and jump starting has now become drive-thru instead of stop and goes. But honestly, that's not too big of a deal in my head. Dirt racing here, it seems like they're still just tweaking the dirt parameters that they've introduced in the last patch. Fine-tuning, as they say right here, fine-tuning. Nothing too major, especially compared to last season. All these tracks are getting AI. Okay, cool. So they have Gen 4 and ARCA finally. That's something I care about, maybe not all of you guys. Look at some like the Milwaukee Mile. That's a new one, and some different brands hatch, Lotus 79. So yeah, they're slowly adding all of the tracks and cars into AI's qualifying scrutiny. All right, so it's been updated to prevent drivers from driving down the pits to gain an unfair advantage. That actually was a thing before, especially it was a way to keep your tires cool without going in the grass. So that's interesting. But I don't see anything about the unfair advantage by going through grass on your pit out. Okay, so there's a lot of change to the spotter. Brand new spotter messages, cool. Incident or off track, your spotter will tell you when an incident has occurred nearby, or if a car has gone off track nearby. That could get really annoying in some tracks, let me tell you. Between 0 and 5 seconds ahead of you. So you'll only get off tracks for cars 0 and 5 seconds ahead of you, or 3 seconds behind you, or is the race leader. Oh, that must be embarrassing to spin as the race leader or get an off track and have that broadcasted to the entire field. Damage and repairs. Oh, your spotter will tell you what type of damage you've sustained and your team will be able to address it. Okay, but this is all stuff you already know, so it's not going to be anything after you've hit a wall they might be able to predict anything. Okay, so you can request to tell you current damage level. That might be helpful then. This is probably the thing that is the most important out of all this, and it looks like you need to be on a keybind for it, so that's interesting. Not everyone has caps or race labs and they want to know the strength of field, and the only way to know that before was to go back and view the spectator sessions or something like that. But yeah, the strength of field, being able to know that without those plugins is really helpful. No, it's not helpful, I guess, but it's good to know. People like knowing that. Okay, so I've actually seen this before. I have seen people before pit for fuel and not get any fuel in there. So hopefully what they're talking about here fixes that, because that is an incredibly annoying issue to deal with, especially in a league race or a long race where you just pit for fuel and then it just doesn't fuel your car. Okay, new damage models here. So we're gonna skip past the new cars here. So Dirt UMP Modified gets a new damage model. Ford Mustang, the Asphalt Modifieds, SK and Wheel and Tour. And then, oh, the Xfinity cars, all three get a new damage model. So we'll see how that affects drafting, bump drafting, how much damage they get when they hit stuff. Very interesting. And okay, new 3D foliage system. So we saw this at Willow Springs and along with a couple other tracks so far, but here are the new ones. So this is one of the new tracks that we'll go over. New Zandvoort we're gonna go over, but new foliage at Sebring. So if you wanna check out that, that's probably gonna look a lot better than it did that you remember. So that's a good one. All right, on to audio. This is pretty interesting here. New audio ear protection or helmet effects have been added to iRacing. So this is for the immersion people out there because a lot of the sim nerds will want as much sound as possible so that they can hear everything going on. But if you're really into immersion, then this could be something that is very important for you, having the immersion of being able to hear the sounds as you would in a car. So earplugs, earmuffs, open face helmet, full helmet, very cool. Force feedback, new intensity slider. So it replaces the auto force factor setting value. So intensity slider could help with people who don't exactly know what the numbers mean, just kind of feel what it's like. So yeah, 0 to 100 it looks like. So what are the new cars and the car improvements here? So the GT3 cars have gotten a new damage model that the cars have been made. So generally standardized damage across all cars. So that's cool. Wheel damage is now addressed before aerodynamic damage. So basically different things to make all of the damage between different cars a little more even. Very cool. Aerodynamic model has been updated for the GTP cars and a variety of improvements for the new damage model. The 1987 cars have now become the NASCAR Legends cars, and it looks like there's a new damage model for the brake limits of the nose, fender, and front wheels and body panels have been reduced, so they're not going to be as big of tanks as they used to be. All right, here's our first new car. It is the Acura ARX06 GTP. So another car for the GTP class, built to the specs of IMSA GTP regulation. Very cool. Here's something here. The Dallara F3 new damage model brake limits for most body panels have been reduced. So with the F3, you can't hit stuff as hard now. So that might get people a little bit cleaner in F3. We'll see though. All right, the Dallara P217 variety of improvements for the new damage model have been made. So wheel damage is addressed before aerodynamic damage. So we saw that earlier with the GT3 cars. All bendable and breakable car elements are now fully repairable or replaceable. Nice. Nothing worse than getting full repaired on a car that you know can get full repairs on it and still going out slow. And here is another new car, and it's another GT3 car. It's Ferrari 296 GT3. So this is Ferrari's latest foray, it says. So we'll see what it's like, how it stacks up with the rest of the GT3 cars. But it looks like here, customers who purchased the Ferrari 488 GT3 Evo within the past 30 days will receive 100% of their purchase price back. And between 31 and 180 days ago, you'll receive 50% of the purchase price back. All right, and another new damage model here. Same thing for the Ligier, I believe it's called, pardon my French. But all the same changes, so it looks like this is a pretty universal change that iRacing is making, with the damage model making for certain cars breakable and bendable elements fully repairable and less time to do so. Pontiac Grand Prix 1987, another new car for the NASCAR Legends. It should drive the same as all the other Legends cars, the 1987s, but we'll see about that, and it's going to have the new damage model as well. And look at that, another new car, and again, another GTP car. It's going to be the Porsche 963. So another prototype to get your hands on, see if it's faster than the other prototypes. That's going to be fun. That's going to make that class a lot more diverse, and we'll see how they stack up against each other. And again, the new damage model is in effect for this as well. And here is the car that everyone has been waiting for, people have been talking about, buzzing about, leaking, getting banned for. It is the Super Formula SF23. So this is going to be super cool. And this here is a post from Greg West saying that the Super Formula will not replace the Formula 3.5. Seems that the series will operate on the opposite hours of the 3.5. So if you're really into that slightly lower power formula racing, you can get something to race every hour, it seems like, and hopefully they will populate. I think this car will be popular, especially with some of the tracks that they'll be running at, maybe some free tracks, maybe some popular tracks, but hopefully it has an open wheel experience that people can move up to and want to race besides just the Formula 3. All right, and on to the tracks. So we have a few new tracks here, or at least updated tracks. The first brand new track here is going to be Leiden. So very cool new track here. I haven't raced this one before in any sim. It's in France. Good road track. I know it's pretty popular with a lot of the GT crowd. So good to see that one, and hopefully people enjoy that one. Next is going to be the long rumored but finally done new scan and fully updated new layout of Zandvoort. So very cool. A lot of fluff here about what Zandvoort is, but all you need to know is it has all of the layouts, brand new 2023 version, fully up to date, and it's going to have that 3D foliage too that we talked about earlier. And here's one for the oval and dirt people. It's Kern County Raceway Park. We're going to get 4 different configurations with this: asphalt track, legends, dirt track, and dirt mini oval. We talked about this earlier in the July update. All right, and with everything else kind of being minor changes to these tracks, we've reached the end of the updates for season 4 2023. So let me know what new car, new track, new content changes. What are you excited for this season? What are you going to be racing this season? Let me know in the comments below. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you all on the track.